Hey, sixth grade. In case some of us are not available on Tuesday to sort of walk with us through the first part of our Use and Consequences Explore activity, I wanted to make sure you have this video to refer to. And also, if you just want a refresher on what it was you were supposed to be doing, for certainly, if that's you, I hope you're watching this video as well. Now, I'm actually going to tackle this assignment in two parts. So if what you are looking for right now is help with the CER part of it, this video is not going to help you right now. This video is walking us through the first part. So stay tuned. If the CER video is not up yet, it will be up after Wednesday. We're going to go over the CER in class also, so it may just be, if that's where you're at, just hold off and we'll talk about it in class on Thursday. But as for Wednesday, we're going to be talking about this Explore tip. Notice that there's no number here. There's an Explore 1 because we're doing all of the natural resources in 1 week. So I just dropped the number. Use and Consequences is a STEM Scopes activity, however, and I think in there it'll say it's Explore 3. Basically, what you're going to need for this is your STEM Scopes login, which is the ALI global login here, and this form. Okay, so this is a Google form. And just so we're clear, you're not going to be expected to turn this form in. Like at the end of it, there's no submit button. You just get to the end. So this is a little bit like our water cycle activity where we were using a form to sort of simulate something we would have done in a group if we were in person. And that's exactly what we would have done here. So just to explain that, I do have STEM Scopes open here, so you can kind of see here's what it looks like. There are directions at the top that are pretty close to what we're doing, but they're not exact, so don't get too hung up on that. Mainly what I want you to go to is this little bingo card here. And so notice that we have a column that is strictly atmosphere, a column that is land, a column that is water, and a column that says biosphere. Just to remind you too, the biosphere is all living things on the planet, atmosphere is all the gases around our planet. So that's making sure that you have that because it's going to come up, obviously, in this activity. So what you're going to need in addition to this, of course, is the form. Again, this form is linked here, and this is what it looks like when you open it up. I'm going to refresh it here, actually, because I was testing it out. Okay, so when you come here, it's a very simple form. Your whole job here, and the directions are here, it says this form will help you complete the Explore activity for human dependence on natural resources. Please read the scenario below and follow the instructions. So the scenarios are always going to be right here. And humans, what this one says is humans drive cars which use gasoline that is made from petroleum, which is taken from Earth. As a consequence, the air is polluted and not fit to breathe. Now, in person, I would be giving you this scenario and asking you guys to sit in, whatever lab groups you were working in to discuss together which one you think is most affected. Do you think the Earth is most affected? Do you think the atmosphere is most effective? In this case, I've gone ahead and just selected for you and told you to go ahead and put an X in the atmosphere column just to make it simple. So what I'm going to have you do then is go to your STEM Scopes thing and you're going to come here to the atmosphere. Click on the text box and then literally just type an X in there. Oh, not a V. Sorry. It's a little dark in the room that I'm working in. Okay. And so that's what you want. You just want an X. All right. Then click out of that. Come back here and you're going to look at your thing and see, are any of the columns completely full? Obviously, we just got started, so no. Every column has at least one blank in it. So I can select this first activity and then click Next. It'll give me a second scenario. Humans use coal to produce electricity. Coal is obtained through surface mining. Around the surface mine, natural vegetation is killed, and this causes erosion of the soil into lakes and streams. As a consequence, the water becomes unusable for drinking. So this has a couple of parts to it. Notice that we're surface mining the land. Okay, so the natural vegetation is killed and there's erosion of the soil. So between the surface mining and the erosion of soil, we're affecting the land as well as the lakes and streams that are becoming unusable for drinking. So this time we're going to put an X in the water and the land columns. So we're going to come back here. We're going to get our text box. Go to water first, I guess, because it says water first. And we're going to do the same thing again. Get away from that. Come on. And then give me the text box again. And another X. Okay. So we're going to continue this way. All right. And now all the two that I've showed you so far have both been sort of negative stories where something bad is happening. There are some positive stories as well. So if you run into a positive one where something's being helped, you then take the bottommost X that you put there and you delete it. Get rid of it. You may be putting it back later, but so you're just trying to make sure that what you have here reflects how many bad things have happened, where the good things have actually erased some things. So you're going to go back and forth, but eventually one or more, and it could be more than one, will reach the bottom, and the whole column will have X's in it. So it will look like this. Well, here. Hopefully your aim with your text boxes is better than mine is. I'm still, at this point, not completely good at using the text box part of this editor. Okay, so if any of your columns looks like this, you're done. Okay, as soon as you have at least one column. At that point, you're just stop. You don't have to do anything else with the form. Although if you want to click on the at least one column is full of X's, you can do that and see where it takes you. What you're going to do then, though, is come down here to questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to answer them. So the first question is pretty straightforward. Which resource was destroyed first? If you had two that hit the battle at the same time, just name them both. Okay. On question 2, why did you die when only one of your resources was gone? Okay, so I want you to think about how important these are to us and why it might be that if any one of them was gone, we would not be able to survive. Okay, so you just need to kind of explain that. On question 3, it says, what caused the destruction of these resources? So think back through those scenarios that we talked about. You don't have to talk about each thing that happened to them, but just think in general, what was it that caused them all to fall apart? Whatever negative things happened, what was the root cause of it? And then finally, what positives do you remember hearing? So which scenarios did you run across that had a positive effect on one or more of those parts of the world, one or more of those resources? Okay, so now the bottom says cut them out, but obviously you're not going to do that because you're in STEM scopes and we can't cut anything. So what you're going to be doing here is reading through these, and some of these will look familiar because I think they're very similar or the same as some of the scenarios in the earlier activity. But basically, all you're going to do here is read and find out, decide for yourself whether these are positive or negative consequences for water supplies. So just to give you a little bit of a heads up, the word aquifers here, what that's referring to is, if you think to when we talked about fossil fuels on Tuesday, which would be today for me, we talked about the fact that the vegetation that existed in the Carboniferous era got compressed down by sediments. And so there's these pockets of oil and natural gas that exist in our bedrock. As water moves through the ground, runs through our bedrock, it does form these little pools. And so there's places where you can drill like a well down and you can pull that water out. An aquifer is like that. It's just kind of a pocket of water that's trapped in the bedrock below you. And a lot of us depend on aquifers for well water. So that's what this is referring to. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. You say the word aquifer comes up here as well. Another big aquifer. And some of them are large enough, they do get recharged over time. So even if you pull water out, water will flow in from the surrounding bedrock and refill that open space. So then when it talks about recharging aquifers, they recharge very slowly. That's what it's talking about. I think that's the only thing here really that is super confusing. Your only job here is to put a letter on it, a P for positive or an N for negative. So if you read through this and decide that one's positive, you're just going to use the paintbrush tool here to write a P or an N. And that's not the answer. I actually haven't read these close enough right at the moment to tell you which one it is, but that's what you do. Okay, just write a P or an N on each card. You're going to need this for the CER. But again, if you're here to get guidance on the CER, you're actually in the wrong video because I'm going to make a separate one about this part. And we're going to talk about it in class on Thursday. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, just hold off. Tomorrow in class, you're going to talk about it. Okay, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to email me. As you know, I would so much rather answer your questions than watch you not do well in my class. So please, please, please send me an email. Let me know what you're struggling with. And that's all. Good luck.